Hello everyone, so great to see you. It's Judy from Coffee, Cookies, and Books, and what we've got today is a ton of books coming out in the month of August. So many great releases, you're not going to want to miss it. All right, so yes, I know I'm late getting this up. Normally I have this up before the 15th, before the middle of the month, but I just didn't have time. You know, with all of my crazy summer chaos stuff going on. The other thing is I do have a vacation coming up. I will be gone from the 23rd to the 30th, going to finally go visit my dad for a week. And so I'm trying to get a ton of stuff, my clients' work done and all of my recordings done. And I think I'm still going to miss one of the dates, but that's okay. Anyway, we do have August's release. Now, I think I have a total of 56. Ton of great books coming out in the month of August. I know I have some on pre-order, so definitely I'll be getting some of these. And yeah, I just can't wait to bring them all to you. I think you're going to be excited with what's coming up. So there's 4 release dates, and our first release date for August is August 4th. Okay, so got my coffee, got my computer right in front of me. So we're going to sit down and we're going to go through this. So August 4th is the biggest release date out of the 4 dates for the month of August. So I think we have about 20 books or so to go through. So there's quite a few. And like I said, I do have some of these on pre-order. I think of the first couple that we're going to talk about. And the first one, starting off with a bang, is The Unknown by Riley Sager. And this, of course, is a thriller. And I do actually have this on pre-order, so I'm looking forward to getting it. I'm going to read the synopsis now. What I usually do when I go through these is I try not to read too much of the synopsis on these books. I just want to give you a general idea of what they're about, what category, genre they fall under, that sort of thing. Okay, so in 1926, 5 women disappeared from a remote island in Vermont. Now, 100 years later, it's happening again. Struggling actress Maehrer Keane is shocked when she lands a role in a major motion picture about the unsolved mystery of New Avalon, an island on sprawling Lake Faraday in Vermont. She's even more surprised when she learns that the role requires a week-long research trip to that very spot. All I'm going to say about that, it sounds really good. Sounds like a great Riley Sager, so very much looking forward to get it. I also really love the cover. Super creepy. Okay, so definitely gives off a vibe, I think, personally. Okay, next book that we're going to look at is The Adversary to the Villain, which is a cozy fantasy romantic comedy. That's how they describe it, and that's exactly what it is. I have read the first 2. I think I've read the first 2. I have the 3rd one on my wheel, and I have this one on pre-order. So because it is the 3rd one, I'm not going to read it. What I will do is I'll go to the first one and I'll read a little bit of what the first one, and this is how the whole thing starts. It says, once upon a time meets The Office, which is actually an apt description, in Hannah Meyer's laugh out loud viral TikTok series turned novel about the sunshine assistant to an evil villain and their unexpected romance. Now, when they say romance, the romance is minimal. It's feelings, but not expressed feelings. Unrequited feelings, I think, between the 2 of them. It's clear they like each other, even into the 2nd book. There is no romance, in my opinion, okay? Not my definition of romance. It is an attraction, and it actually drives a lot of the book and a lot of the decisions, especially that the villain makes. So that's my opinion on it. So that's the 2nd one that's coming out. Can't wait to get it. So far, the series has been great. The 2 books that I've read so far, I've really enjoyed. Okay, next one is The Lion and the Deathless Dark by Carissa Broadbent, and this is book 5 in the Crowns of Nyaxia. Now, I think this is the beginning of a new duology. So I think that the first 2 was one couple, then the second 2 was another couple, and then this is the a third 2. So they're duets, and this deals with another couple in the same world. So I'll just read a little bit of this. It says, she returns with a brand new novel in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, the first book in the Bloodborne duet. Okay? Some blood tastes like vengeance, some blood tastes like grief, some blood tastes like nothing at all. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have not read them yet. I think I have the first 2. And I did read one of the companion novels at the beginning of last year, and it is vampire-based. So paranormal fantasy vampire. And I did really enjoy the companion novel that I read. Okay, next book is Lost and Found by Tarah DeWitt, and this is book 3 of the Spoons series. This is contemporary romance, and book 3, it's a different couple. So each book is a different couple. Let's see. It is a novel of romance and redemption set in the Spoons, Oregon world, filled with heartbreak and hope from the master of emotion, Tarah DeWitt. B always wanted to be a mom, but she never expected she'd have to lose her best friend to do it. Armed with nothing but her best friend's eggs and a bucket list to complete, B's world is a sea of changes. When she needs a place to stay, her longtime friend Silas steps in to help, a firefighter grappling with the aftermath of an accident. Silas has his own challenges to work through that have left him cautious and vulnerable. At first, they expect nothing, but as these 2 former sunshines knit together in a love that has been unfulfilled until now, a new beginning comes out of the ashes of the past, one that will lead to a love that can withstand all the slings and arrows, joys and triumphs that life can throw. So that's what we've got for that one. Sounds good. I have Lost and Found. Is that? No, this is Lost and Found. I have one of them. Hold on. Let me just pull up the other 2. So this is the third one. Left in Forever. I have Left in Forever. So I bought that one because I loved the sound of it. Haven't read it yet, but would very much like to. If I like that one, then I'll probably get. The first one is Savor It, and the last one is Lost and Found. Next is a thriller called The Women in White by Sarah Pekkanen, and it says extrasensory perception, the gift, a sixth sense, or something else. And it says in 1964, 4 remarkable young women at a prestigious university become the subjects of parapsychology experiments by a visionary scientist. On the cusp of a historic breakthrough, the women mysteriously vanished and the program was erased from history. Decades later, Riley Bell, newly divorced and desperate for a fresh start, accepts a caretaker job for an elderly widow named Betty. Riley steps into a home that is frozen in another era. No microwave, television, or cell phones, and Betty has never heard of the internet. Why has Betty lived in such profound isolation for so many years, and why does she need Riley now? I'm just going to leave it at that. I think it sounds interesting. I've never read one of her novels. I think I might have one that I picked up on a book outlet sale, but yeah, haven't read any, but I actually think this one sounds really interesting. Okay, next is Pink Ink, a dark romance by Avina St. Graves. And this says it's Gothic Hannah meets Dexter in this sinfully delicious dark romance about a film student who's secretly tracking the murders of a serial killer, unaware he's also her brooding professor. I'm not going to say any more than that. Sounds good. Sounds good. You never know. Maybe I might read that because I do tend to like dark romances. I'm just not the whole student-professor thing. Depends on how big the age gap is, because I don't like age gap romance. So we shall see. But that does sound good. Okay, next one is another romance called Embrace by Bal Khabra, and an unexpected spark between a hockey player and the coach's daughter might cause them to cross the line in the next Dalton University book from international bestseller author Bal Khabra. So it's a hockey player sports romance. So there you go on that one. Next one is A Trade of Blood by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the third book in the Shadow of the Leviathan series, which is an Anna and Din mystery series. I've read the first two. The Tainted Cup was the first one. I think I gave that 4.5. And then the second book was A Drop of Corruption. I gave that 5 stars. That was like so good. Okay, so I cannot wait for this one. I do have it on pre-order, 100%, of course. Okay, so I will be getting this one for sure. Can't wait to read it, honestly. Can't wait to read it. Now, the only thing I'm kind of hoping maybe that Aardvark will have it, because Aardvark did have the other two, and I do have them in the Aardvark editions. So I would like to have this one in an Aardvark edition. So I'm crossing my fingers on that one, even though I have it pre-ordered here. But the likelihood is that I might cancel this, because no, I'm not getting it for any special price or anything like that. So I may very well just cancel the order. And yeah, so we shall see. All right, next one is Freyja by Margret and Thors. I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but this is a historical fiction, is what it says. It says the unsolved case of a young girl's disappearance reopens after 20 years in this atmospheric novel of suspense set in Reykjavik and the Icelandic coast. I love the sound of that. It's like, how many books are set like in that setting? I think that sounds really great. It says, Unnar has secrets. A single mother to a beloved daughter, she lives a deliberately quiet life in Reykjavik, where she works at a bakery under her assumed last name. She has spent years pushing away haunting half remembrances of the last summer of her childhood, when her otherworldly friend Freyja disappeared from a black sand beach in the remote dark valley. That's all I'm going to say about that one. It does sound really good. It's like an old cold case investigation reopens on, obviously, the disappearances. So, yeah, sounds great. I actually really love the cover, too. I think the cover is beautiful. Okay, next one is The Iron Hex by Victoria S. Walsh. And this says it is a horror, occult, supernatural. It says a captivating fantasy romance of outlawed magic and forbidden love. So it is fantasy based. She doesn't remember her past, but some memories come with a cost. Ira Eckert has spent years building a quiet life in a small town at the edge of a recently overthrown kingdom. Her memory is fractured, her past a blur, but with her shop, her loyal rabbit familiar, and practicing only the potion's magic still legal under the watchful eye of the Iron Empire, she's managed to remain unnoticed by the Empire's witch hunters until Hugo Venton walks through her door. It says, for fans of Yearning, the guard that falls in love with his assignment, enemies to friends to lovers, forbidden magic, memory loss plot lines, spark of the Everflame, and a fate inked in blood, I think is the comparisons, plus-sized main character, whose weight is the least important thing about them, powerful women in romantasy. So those are all the points. Next one is The Amateur by Chris Bohjalian, I think is how his name is pronounced. I could be wrong. I did look it up, and there were various different ways you could pronounce it, so did my best on that one. It says, from the New York Times bestselling author of Midwives and The Flight Attendant, when a young woman, a golf prodigy, kills a caddy with a stray ball at the country club, the investigation of this freak accident reveals a dark, shocking tale of secret affairs, predatory men, and a teenager on trial. So it looks like it is set in 1978 is when it all occurs. So sounds interesting. And it is considered to be a thriller. Okay, next one is a coming of age fiction called How to Find Love in the Cereal Aisle by Alissa DeRogatis. I think it's how her name is pronounced. From Cosmopolitan's Cosmo Reads imprint and the author of the smash hit Call It What You Want comes a fresh, charming rom-com about the chaos of dating in your 20s, the ache of a brutal breakup, and the hilarious lengths one romance writer will go to get her spark back, including staging her own meet-cutes, perfect for fans of Catherine Center and Emily Henry. There you go. It sounds cute. It covers cute. Like it's very cute. Okay. Next one is The Wild Beneath by Kelly Anderson. And this is, it says paranormal urban fantasy. Let's see what it says here. So it's Annie McLeod always knew she was different growing up on a sailboat in the Pacific Northwest, navigating by the stars and swimming in the ocean. But when a tsunami shatters her world and her parents are swept away, Annie is stranded on land, grief-stricken, and forced to confront just how unconventional she is, and despite her enduring love for her childhood sweetheart, Evan. In the wreckage, she rescues a wordless man named Walker, who emits a hum only she can hear. Their connection is instant, elemental. When Walker disappears, along with any explanation he might hold about who she really is, Annie is forced to decide between evacuating with Evan or staying to unlock a secret that feels vital to her survival. So, that sounds like an interesting one. Okay, next one is Time Travel for Beginners by Jaclyn Moriarty. And this is, it says, genre fiction, time travel. Let's see if we read through it. In her dazzling new novel, Jaclyn Moriarty asks the question, if you could revisit one moment in time in your life, what would it be? On a bustling road in Sydney, Australia, lies a nondescript storefront known simply as a time travel agency. Inside, you'll be welcomed by the smell of fresh brewed coffee, a selection of baked goods, and the question, where in time do you wish to go? Sounds interesting. Yeah. Is it YA? Let me just go down and see. No, it says humorous, science fiction, domestic life, and women's fiction, time travel, science fiction. So, yeah, it does definitely sound like something I would like based on the books that I've read over the last year. There's been a couple in there and they've all been kind of that idea and very much like it. Okay. Next one is a small town rural You'll Be Sorry by Lisa Gardner. I think hers are all suspense thrillers. Newlywed couple, each with their own secrets, an abandoned lodge with a horrific decades-old mystery, and a small mountain town where everyone believes they know their neighbors in this thriller from masterpiece storyteller. For Raquel and Theo Collins, it appeared to be love at first sight. Raquel, a renowned interior designer, and Theo, a brash financial wizard, met and married in a matter of months, only to confront a terrible tragedy. Now, unbearably aware of the distance between them, they've come to a remote town in New Hampshire to begin anew. Well, that's all it takes is a remote town, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I have one or two of her books that I bought when Book Outlet had that big sale on their thriller books. And I know for sure I picked up one or two of hers. So this one sounds good. All of her books are thrillers. So this next one is a weird one. It's called Kitten by Stacy Yu and says it's coming of age. The cover is creepy to me. Really creepy, okay? An enchanting debut novel about a young woman whose growing obsession with her boyfriend's cat opens new possibilities for her life, but not without threatening to unravel it. Okay, this is just weird. It says Harper's bizarre, most anticipated book. Katie is far from home, fresh out of college, and desperate to skirt the demands of adult life. It doesn't help that she's no longer speaking to her mother, or that she owes her roommate and closest friend months of rent money. Luckily, her self-assured, generous boyfriend, James, seems to help to make decisions for both of them. When James takes Katie on vacation to his family's seaside house, he brings Silver, his childhood cat, and Katie discovers a sudden, strange, and giddy connection. Silver doesn't mind that Katie can't seem to get a job, hold her own at dinner parties, or make amends with her mother. Silver, who gets to lie around all day, misbehave spectacularly, act cute, be gross, and still get fed, seems to have the life Katie increasingly longs for. Soon enough, they're inseparable, and something inside Katie begins to crack open, or maybe just crack. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Sounds creepy, right? Mm-hmm. It's sounds like something that's supposed to be cute, but isn't really cute, right? Right. Okay, next one is Immortal Game by Allison Saft. This is a fantasy. In this Irish folklore-inspired sapphic fantasy, a chess grandmaster must team up with her fae rival to save the person she loves the most. So it is fantasy romance. Let's see. It says, in Immortal Game, Allison Saft has written a high-stakes sapphic love story brimming with competitive tension set against the lush Irish fantasy world. Oh, fantasies. Fantasy. Okay, next one is Devour Me by Emily Rath. It's a dark paranormal romance of a wraith, a witch, and a human bound by fate. The haunt is over. This is the hunt. I will have them for my own. Dane the Devourer has spent the last 200 years of his undead life reluctantly bonded to a dark witch doing her dirtiest work. Devouring corrupt souls may not be satisfying for a wraith, but it keeps him fed. Sent on a job to Burr Island, Dane is forced to devour the soul of a rival witch. But Jasper Prescott is no corrupt magical misfit. He's powerful and beautiful and with a soul worth savoring. Dane is eagerly devouring the witch when he's abruptly stopped by a human, no less. So we will leave it at that. Next one. Is Meet Me in the Garden by Nina LaCour, and this is supposed to be lesbian fiction. It's New Orleans, 1944. Odette has always been one of the Honor Sisters, glamorous and admired in the Creole community, but while Odette's older sisters are content to be wives and mothers, Odette has always wanted something else. It is only with her beloved cousin Delphine that Odette can tell her secret. She's in love with a woman, and she longs to be an artist. Delphine has a secret lover too, a white man. In the hidden garden they've discovered, Odette and Delphine can dream of futures full of passion and freedom. So we'll leave it at that. Sounds interesting. Okay, next one is Eyes of Kings by Chloe Gong, and this is the third book in the Flesh and False Gods series. The first book was Immortal Longings. Second book is Vilest Things. And then the new one, which is Eyes of Kings. So this is a continuing series. So I don't want to read, at least I think it is. Yeah, it sounds like it's the same character. I'm just doing a quick check. Yeah, so it's the same character. So I don't want to read that. But what I'm going to read is just the base description. It's an action-packed finale to Chloe Gong's best-selling Flesh and False Gods trilogy, inspired by Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra, brings readers the ultimate showdown for power among gods and men. So that's what it says. I still haven't read the first book, but I do really want to read it because I love the whole Antony and Cleopatra thing. Okay, so next one is Take What You Can by Naima Coster. I think that's how you pronounce her first name. And this is considered family life fiction. It's a panoramic exploration of friendship, class, new motherhood, and independence. Weaving between Brooklyn brownstones and the glittering beaches of southern France, Take What You Can is a dazzling novel exploring what it means to be a mother when you have none. When you have none, a sister without blood ties, and a woman in pursuit of the life she wants. With her signature, sharply observed prose, Naima Coster illustrates how to be and to stay someone's person through all phases of life. Next is Steelborn by Taylor J. LaRue, and this is a fantasy. And so, let's see, introducing an epic slow burn enemies to lovers romantasy novel about a heroine forged in steel and rage, and the cursed immortal who might turn out to be as much her salvation as she is his. Perfect for fans of Daniel L. Jensen and Callie Hart. Says, so the tropes include slow burn romance, enemies to lovers, deadly curses, tortured immortal hero, secret identity, forced proximity, found family, only one saddle. Enter a world ruled by tyrants and thieves where magic is outlawed, revolution brews, desire is dangerous, and an impossible cure may prove deadlier than the curse. So that's that one. And is it this last one? Yes. So the last one that I have for the 4th of August is Infinite State by Richard Swan. And this says book 1 of the Decurion saga. So not sure how many books there's going to be, but minimum 2 for sure. And I think most of his are 3. 2 or 3. 2 or 3. 3, I think. In this blistering science fiction epic, international best-selling author Richard Swan presents a thrilling tale of survival and an eviscerating examination of totalitarianism. I can't even pronounce that. Totalitarianism. Thank you very much. Okay. The Infinite State begins at a flashpoint in the lives of a widowed party member, a disgraced investigator, and a hypersled pilot entangled in a plot to escape the suffocating authority of a fascist state. So, very politically driven, it sounds like, and definitely science fiction. So I thought this sounded really interesting. I did not pre-order this one because my thoughts are I'm going to wait to see if how everybody, reviews it, and then I'll make a decision on whether or not to get this one. Okay, so that's it for the 4th of August. So our next date is August 11th. All right, so let's get on with the books that are coming out on the 11th. And we have, the first one is a thriller, The Secrets We Hide by Karen Slaughter. This is book 2 in the North Falls thriller series. And the first one was We Are All Guilty Here. And I really enjoyed that one, loved it. So I will definitely be getting this one. I have it on pre-order. Yeah, very excited to get this one. It says the next thrilling mystery in the new North Falls series from Karen Slaughter. Welcome to North Falls, a small town with big secrets. So I don't want to read too much into this because it is a continuation, even though it's likely going to be a different case, okay? And it does follow the same character. So we have the sheriff and the relatives that are all part of this small town. And yeah, you really have to read the first one because you can't follow along. Karen Slaughter's books do tend to be like that. While each book is a separate case, if you don't read right from the beginning, you miss an awful lot for the characters. So you do have to kind of follow it from there. So can't wait for this one. Very much looking forward to this one. Okay, next one is Stay Buried by Jennifer McMahon. And this says it's zombies, vampires, and werewolf horror. Okay, and it has what looks like to be two timelines, 1919 and 2016. So it says, it's a queer folk horror in which a woman must confront decades of secrecy and superstition to learn the truth about her mother's death. So I think we're going to leave it at that. I don't really want to read too much, but 2016, siblings Ashley and Malcolm lost their mother 2 years ago. When their grandmother dies, they inherit a property in Boone's Ferry, a place they heard of, but their grandmother has always refused to talk about, and embark on a trip to their ancestral home. That's where it's all going to start, obviously. Yeah, I always love books like that too. The creepier, the better. Right? Next one is Dreamland by Olivia Blake, and this is a fantasy, paranormal, and urban is what it's rated under. It says, it is a tantalizing story of power, seduction, and the omens you'll ignore when everything you dreamed of feels just within reach. The headlines are calling it the summer of exsanguination in LA. Girls are being murdered. The Santa Ana winds are blowing a strange energy into the city, and all signs point to fire season. More pressing for Anya Morris, though, is the drudgery of living at home, working part-time at the family store, and contending with her mother's disdain for the acting career Anya knows she's destined for. But that feels more impossible by the day. In this city, everyone cuts a deal with the devil. When Anya comes face to face with a devil of her own, she'll learn just how far she's willing to go to get everything she's ever wanted. So I'll leave it at that. Does sound good though, right? Next one is Death Card by Jasmine Smith, and this is another fantasy, dark contemporary fantasy featuring witchcraft, tarot, death, and a bit of romance that's perfect for fans of Immortal, Dark, and Cinderella is Dead. Death Card is a dark and pacey romantic fantasy about one witch's journey to find the strength to fight for herself, her future, and her beloved community. So it doesn't say it's a series. There's nothing listed for a series. Could be a standalone. So, sounds good though. Next one, She Haunts Me Still by D. Elizabeth, and this is a horror dark fantasy. These violent delights have violent ends. When an ancient bloodthirsty evil calls to collect on a bargain that dates back to the New England vampire panic, Mallory, Ezra, and Saskia will have to untangle the tragic ways in which their histories are linked and face the devastating consequences of their own star-crossed love story. That one sounds interesting. I don't know, I don't know if it's LGBTQ. It does not say. Let me just go down and check the ratings. No, yes, it says bisexual romance, dark fantasy, horror, fiction. So I thought maybe it had that in it, but I wasn't 100% sure. I wanted to double check. Okay, next one is Brimstone Hollow by Archer Sullivan. So this is a supernatural mystery thriller. Following her powerful debut in The Witch's Orchard, private investigator Annie Gore returns in Brimstone Hollow, bringing readers back to the mountains that Arthur Sullivan, a ninth-generation Appalachian, knows so well. So it's an Annie Gore novel. There is a previous book, The Witch's Orchard, right? That was what it said. I was just double checking that. And it doesn't sound like it's a continuation. It sounds like it's a completely separate story. But I don't want to read too much. It says, as she navigates the hidden hollows and dangerous secrets of this insular eastern Kentucky town, Annie works fast, hoping to find the truth in record time for her client and before too many memories from her own childhood surface. But it soon becomes apparent that someone wants Annie's investigation to stop by any means necessary. So there you go on that one. It actually sounds good. I would want to read the first one first, though. The Witch's Orchard. I'd want to read that first. because you want to get familiar with the character. There are some, like I said, there are some of these types of books that you can read them out of order, but typically you have to read the first one all the time, because if you don't read the first one, then you're not familiar with any of the characters. You're not familiar with the base on where your main character is built. So yeah, like I like that Karen Slaughter one. Like I said, you have to read the first book. If you don't read the first book, you don't know who these people are or the importance of their community that they're in, right? Yeah. Okay, next one is You'll Love It Here by Natalie Sue. So this is like a small town, rural general fiction. From the best-selling author of I Hope This Finds You Well comes a sharply funny, surprisingly tender novel about a woman stuck in place, her nosy neighbors, and the journey to find where she belongs with all the heart of a grown-up, The Breakfast Club. Okay, Mona thought her living situation was bad, but the real mess is just beginning. One day, all it takes for Mona's life to implode. After years of climbing at her marketing firm, she was supposed to be getting promoted and finally moving out of her crumbling apartment building. Instead, she's jobless, aimless, and all stuck in a space barely big enough for a yoga mat. Okay, so you can kind of tell that it has to do with the building, and it must have to do with the people that live there. Little eccentric, right? Wise, heartfelt, and a laugh out loud funny, Natalie Sue's sophomore novel is a story about burning out, starting over, and finding your people in the most unexpected places. Perfect for fans of the wedding people and anxious people. I loved the wedding people. I thought that was really great. So this could be good. All right, so that's that one. Next one is Sunrise by Taya Obreht. I think that's how Obreht. I'm not sure how her name is pronounced, so I apologize if I got that wrong. This says it's just general fiction, historical. 3 lives, 100 years, one ghost town, an explosive novel about a mysterious place called Sunrise where the secrets of the past refuse to stay buried. So it says 3 time frames, 2024, 2003, 1902. And there's 3 strangers. It says 3 strangers separated by time and circumstance, but Sunrise's many secrets are like gunpowder, quiet, contained until they encounter a spark. Magisterial and suspenseful, Taya Obreht's novel challenges the myths we think we know of heroes and villains, of the people and places to which we lay claim, and most of all, of our own lives. So that's that one. Okay, next one is Let's Kiss and Tell by Joss Richard, which is obviously a romance. A sex columnist and a news reporter realize a fake relationship can help them both professionally and personally, but they aren't prepared for the real feelings that start to develop between the headlines. So that says a lot about that one. The whole fake romance thing. Okay. A sex columnist and a news reporter. Next one is The Butcher's Legacy by Elena Urquhart, and this is the thrilling 3rd novel in the #1 bestseller Dr. Ren Muller series from Elena Urquhart. So it says it's a series, but it's not showing it as a series. So I don't know if you have to read the first one, and I don't even know what the first one is. Is it The Butcher's Game? Because that is, yes, that's #2. Okay, that one is actually now showing them as listed. So The Butcher and the Wren was the first one. The Butcher Game is the second one. And then The Butcher Legacy, which is the new one, is the 3rd one, okay, in the series. And 2 months after the life-altering adventure of The Butcher's Game, Wren is back in the place she knows best, the New Orleans morgue. She buries herself in routine, surrounded by both familiar and new company. John LaRue and Maya Rodriguez, trying to convince herself that normalcy can be rebuilt. But in the weeks leading up to Halloween, shadows begin to move again as young girls vanish in both cities where Jeremy Rose once ran rampant. So, just going to leave it at that. I think I mean, this sounds actually really good, but I think I would want to go back and I would want to read the first book, right? Because to me, that just makes more sense. The Butcher and the Wren. That's what I would want to read, for sure. Does sound good, though. Okay, enough of that one. But it does sound really good. Okay, next is Mia by Leslie Bezet. And this is a contemporary women's fiction, a stylish, unsettling work of psychological suspense about an American woman adrift in Mexico for a year whose chance encounter with a glamorous older expat spirals into obsession and betrayal. There's no one, there's only you. A taut, beguiling work of psychological suspense, Mia is a mother-daughter story turned on its head and a high-intensity fable about the limitation of playing a role that doesn't belong to you. And the last one is Reliquary by Hannah Witten. I think that's how it's pronounced, okay? And this is rated under horror, occult, and supernatural. A young woman is lured to her late fiancé's remote island estate, only to uncover eerie family secrets, a haunting past, and a monstrous hunger stirring beneath the sea in this deliciously atmospheric horror debut from best-selling author Hannah Witten. So I know that she wrote fantasy before because I've read her fantasy, and I think this sounds like amazing to me, you know. So yeah, I'd be definitely interested in reading this one. So yeah, she read the Foxglove King. So I did read the Foxglove King. I do have the Hemlock Queen. Have not read that yet. Do want to read it. And then there is the third book. So it's a 3-book series, fantasy series. But this one certainly sounds interesting as well. Okay, so that's it for August 11th. So now we are on to August 18th. Okay, so let's get on to the 25th, and we've got 10 or 11 books, something like that. First one is a fantasy romance called Immortal Rose by Alexandra Bracken, and this, it says, where are we here? Comes a stunning, original, adult fantasy, the first book in a duology set in a sumptuous world ruled by magical perfume. This achingly romantic, slow-burn love story will shatter your heart and leave you breathless. Members of the ancient House Roseborn have a strange gift born of a fairy ancestor, the ability to infuse fragrance with magic capable of manipulating mind, body, and emotion. When a shocking murder leaves the kingdom of Albion vulnerable to a coup, Royal Spy Master Hugh Thornton seeks the one person who can help, Viola Lockhart, the last living Roseborn and secret heir to a fraught legacy. Okay, so I think that sounds interesting. I like the idea of magical perfume, infusing it to manipulate. Sounds interesting. Okay. Next book is Promise Me Never by Liv Constantine. So this is a thriller, and it says, unmissable thriller about a woman who becomes embroiled in the mystery of her husband's deceased first wife, and after moving to his remote house in the woods, uncovers terrifying secrets. That's all I'm going to say about that one. It appears that she is a writer, and she meets a superstar writer, and I guess he charms her, they get married, and goes from there. Always good for a good thriller is the How'd the Axe Die, right? Yeah. Okay, next one. My Sister is Going to Kill Me, and this is by Nina Simon, and it says it's a thriller. My sister is going to kill me. I was like, where's your first clue? Okay. It's a fun, family-centered whodunit about two sisters who work together to find a killer as they raft down the rapids of the Grand Canyon. Really? Okay. What's a family vacation without a little murder? Oh my God. Liv and Mandy Chisholm's yearly sister trip is a sacred tradition, an attempt to bond as their lives increasingly diverge. Liv, the ever-practical older sister, packs the color-coded itineraries. Mandy, a bedazzled human tumbleweed, brings the spontaneity. This year, the sisters take off for a rafting adventure through the breathtaking depths of the Grand Canyon with a group of strangers, but beyond the terrace of Whitewater Rapids, sibling squabbles, and rogue reptiles, the ferocious beauty of the river carries a darker undercurrent and an unexpected guest, a murder in the midst. Ooh, okay. That actually sounds really good. Yeah, I like the sound of that one. It sounds really interesting. I think the cover's really cute. I think I might pre-order that one because I actually like the way that one sounds. Okay, so next one is The Secret Dinner by Rafael Montez. And this is says dark humor satire. Four childhood friends eager for a taste of city life swap rural Brazil for an apartment in Copacabana, Rio, but they have no idea of the fate that awaits them there. What starts as a joke quickly spirals out of their control as the four friends fall deeper into this dark underworld and earn more money. The stakes get higher and the consequences deadlier, revealing the devious depths that lurk within each of them and threatening not only their friendship but also their lives. Oh, that one sounds good. A little hostile. That sounds good. Okay, the next one is The Best I Never Had by Amy Buchanan. So this is a contemporary romance. Sounds like it says it's sisters is in the writing. So they staged a romance, faked a breakup, and this time around anything can happen, even something real. Thea Pappas has always been the storm in her own life, fiery and unpredictable traits that led her and her younger sister Addie through a series of foster homes. But with Addie's whirlwind engagement, Thea is determined to be the perfect maid of honor, even if she finds it odd that she hadn't heard of the fiancé until the ring was on Addie's finger. She believes she can survive a week in the Blue Ridge Mountains with a group of strangers without causing any trouble. But upon arrival, Thea realizes these aren't strangers. Among the familiar faces is Owen Hayes, the man who 3 years ago paid her to pretend to be his girlfriend at a family wedding. Now he's looking at her with the same panicked expression. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. That sounds like a train wreck waiting to happen, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, next one. This one sounds funny too. I Punched an Alien and Now We're in Couples Therapy by Kimberly Lemming. So this science fiction alien invasion, but this is like a zany and sexy romance about a woman who finds herself stranded on a far-off planet and made it to the warlord alien king. Okay, you just have to look at the cover and you kind of get the whole gist of the book, but the title pretty much gives it away, right? Let's see, is there any tropes or anything? No, there's nothing like that, so I don't want to read too much of it, but I think that sounds really funny. It's definitely entertaining. Okay, the next one, The Divine Gardener's Handbook, or What to Do If Your Girlfriend Accidentally Turns Off the Sun by Eli Snow. Warning, may cause rebellion, radical gardening, and romance. The Divine Gardener's Handbook is a sapphic dystopian fantasy of botanical sabotage, a questionable god named Saul, and a woman falling for the person most likely to ruin her life. It sounds a bit cozy, right? Yeah, perfect for readers who like fantasy, weird, heartfelt, and a little unhinged. Maybe like a little bit of the Spell Shop kind of feel to it, maybe? That kind of thing. Next is Bedeviled by Laura Thalassa, which is the fourth book in the Bewitched series. Now, I don't know if these are all different people, like if it's interconnected standalones. No, it looks like it's the same person. So I do not want to read it. Yeah, no, it's both the same person from the first book, which she's a witch in a fantasy world and it's the world of the Bargainer series. So, and the main character looks to be about 20. So that's all I really want to say about that, because I don't want to read the synopsis of the fourth one. But the first one is Bewitched. The second one is Bespelled. The third one is The Curse That Binds. And the fourth one is Bedeviled. Next one is The Halls of the Dead by S.M. Hallow. And this is a queer Victorian Gothic horror romance of necromancy and impossible love. It is necromancy-tinged London, sure to entrance fans of the death of Jane Lawrence, and Mexican Gothic. It's London, December 1849. So it's definitely historical. And death is not the end of love, but Irene may realize it can actually be the beginning. And then we have The Calamities by Chuck Wendig. And it says this is book one of the Fiends series. So, continuing series. The heir to one of the world's most influential families reckons with the demonic secret of their power in this contemporary dark fantasy that melds occult magic with shocking family drama. Morning Main, I think that's the name of the person. Morning Main knows he'll one day bear the duty of managing his family's vast empire of wealth and power, but the feckless Morning has always struggled to accept this legacy of cruelty, domination, and exploitation, and something even darker. So this is book one of the series. So the next one is Sinister, a dark academia gothic romance by Veronica Lancet. And this is part of the series that was Fairytale, started with Fairytale. And yeah, so this is just, I think it's in the same world. I don't know if it's the same people. Let me see if I can figure that out or not. Different people. Okay, so this one is in Radcliffe, Perfectionist Mask, and Sinclair Arnott wears his far too well. Sin is Radcliffe's golden boy, star athlete, top student, and heir to the family name that carries weight in every corner of the town. With his easy smiles and effortless charms, he's untouchable, perfect. Petra Valentine has always been an outsider, trapped in a world of wealth and privilege that barely tolerates her. She's spent her life fading into the background until one reckless night at a party changes everything. A fleeting, drunken mistake ties her to him. But in Radcliffe, devotion and destruction look a lot like the same thing. So that is Sinister. So that was the last book for the 18th. So we are going to move on to August 25th. All right, so we're getting ready to go through our last batch of books. I think I've got about 10 for the 25th, but before we do, I would love to ask you if you could like and subscribe to the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. And everything that you share or like or subscribe, and every time you view one of these videos, I very much appreciate it, and it really helps the channel grow. Second thing I wanted to mention is that below I do timestamp these by the release date. Okay, because that's the easiest for me. It's just too hard to separate out and constantly timestamp each book. But I do also then list the books below by release date. So then you can go through and you can see where they fall. And they fall in the exact order that I'm recording them. Okay, so you're going to get them listed in that order. And then it'll make it much easier for you to find it if you want to go over it again and listen again for a particular book. Okay, Well, that's the best way that I can do it and get you all of the information that you need. All right. Okay, so the first book we're going to look at is Heart of Glass by Jennifer Hillier, and this is a thriller, okay, which I believe most of her books are. And this one says, 25 years ago in Seaside, Washington, a charming drifter named Sam met 3 inseparable teenage girls at the local amusement park. Days later, one of them was found dead, her body surfacing in a flooded cranberry bog not far from where she was murdered. Barb and Nicolette were shocked to learn that the man they all met at Wonderland was the carnival killer, and he's arrested for the murders of 5 young women, one of whom was their best friend Lorelei. Nicolette moved to the city to pursue her dreams of being famous. Barb stayed behind in Seattle, eventually becoming a reporter for the local paper. Their past safely behind them, they're both moved on with their lives. But when the carnival killer recants his confession and a new body washes ashore on the eve of Wonderland's grand reopening, the secrets that Barb and Nicolette have worked so hard to bury begin to surface, threatening to destroy everything in their carefully constructed lives. So that sounds like, the synopsis sounds like the very beginning of the book. And it sounds like there's a lot to the book. So yeah, this one definitely sounds really, really good and something that I would love to read. Coffee, I need coffee. Next one we have is Big Little Truths by Leanne Moriarty. And this is a general fiction, literary fiction, I guess. In this highly anticipated sequel, Big Little Lies, so there's 2 books. This is the second one. In this highly anticipated sequel, Leanne Moriarty examines the complexities of modern women's lives, shining light on family dynamics and long-hidden truths with wit and compassion. Whether you read Big Little Lies or not, this is the perfect novel for longtime fans and new readers alike. So it sounds like you don't have to read Big Little Lies, but you probably would want to read Big Little Lies first, because it sounds like it could be a continuation of Big Little Lies. Okay, next one is Daggerbound, which is the second book in the Sword Heart series by T. Fisher. And so this one, I'm assuming it's the same characters. Maybe not. No, it actually looks like it's different characters. So, best-selling author T. Fisher returns to the charming fantasy world of Sword Heart in this delightful and unexpected new romantic adventure. Okay, so this is not with the same characters. No. The characters in the first one look like they're Hala and Sarkis. And this one looks like it's Edmund and Dervish. Yeah, so totally different characters, but part of the same world. The next one is The Dark in Her Veins by M.K. Lobb. And this is says it's a dark fantasy. From the critically acclaimed best-selling author M.K. Lobb comes a noir romantic fantasy set in a world in which sin is a fatal disease and the rich hire the poor to carry out their basest instincts until the forbidden romance between a sinner and the mysterious figure threatens to destroy everything. Nothing is sacred for those willing to pay the price. Okay. That one actually sounds really super creepy. Okay, the next one is The Dog Park Murders by Angela Barker. It's a grumpy sunshine, cozy mystery romance. Cozy seasonal mystery romance in which a grumpy cafe owner teams up with a sunshiny pet groomer to solve a murder that shocked the small town of Labrador Falls. It's the first book in the Dog Park Murders miniseries that's perfect blend of only murders in the building and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. A killer has been unleashed in their small town. So, yeah, for fans of grumpy sunshine romance, small town cozy mystery, amateur sleuths, twisty turny whodunits, and pet sidekicks. So I think that sounds really great. That actually sounds like something that I would really want to read because, I do have that cozy side of me. which I'm going through right now in July and August. Okay, I'm reading a ton of like books that really sit on that cozy line. This would fit right in, don't you think? For sure. Okay, next one is Era of Prophecy by Annalie Sabrana, I think is how it's pronounced. A romantasy novel of a girl caught between two prophecies, two worlds, and one alluring vision. It's the Class of Prophecies duet, so it sounds like it's going to be 2 books. She's a woman bound by fate, torn between 2 prophecies. He's the prince of the underworld, fated to either claim her or end her life. Defying destiny is one thing, the heart another. It does list it under thriller, suspense, crime, kidnapping, but it's obviously in a fantasy world. So it might have like kind of like a bit of a mafia undertone to it. Sounds a bit like that. Next one is They Say a Girl Died Here by Sarah Pinborough. And this is a thriller. Okay, and it's a mystery about 2 murdered girls, a small town with dark secrets, and a race to break a deadly cycle. A devastating mystery at its core, They Say a Girl Died Here is a novel of thrilling and terrifying secrets with mind-bending twists that could only come from Sarah Pinborough. Now, I don't want to read the details of it because it's a long synopsis, which means it gives away far too much. I'm not going to read it. I don't like to do that. I like to kind of leave it open, you know? Yeah. Okay, The Whitechapel Full Moon Society by Elizabeth Delosier. Delosier? I think it's how pronounce these last names always kill me, like all the time. Okay. I do have this one on back order. This is one of those ones that has a historical fiction vibe, but it falls under Victorian London and Jack the Ripper time. So that appeals to me 100%. So it is set in Victorian London during Jack the Ripper's reign of terror. This gripping original novel is perfect for fans of V.E. Schwab, Dennis Schwartz, and Sarah Penner. Like, I loved the sound of it, so that was how come I got it. I actually started reading the ARC and decided that I didn't want to read it as an uncorrected ARC because I loved the vibe of it. So that's how come I have pre-purchased this. I've been waiting for it because I think I read the ARC like back at the beginning of the year. So it was quite some time ago. So I didn't read the whole thing. Tantalizing and pulsing, Elizabeth Delosier's sophomore novel gives an exciting alternative look into the infamous Jack the Ripper story with a major supernatural twist. That's all I'm going to say about it. Yeah, and I mean, I love the cover. I totally love the cover. Okay, next one is Not a Word by Linwood Barclay. And so this, again, is another thriller. And it says, it's the latest chilling thriller from author Linwood Barclay. A man's world is upended after he stumbles upon a grisly crime scene in the family home. Every family has secrets, but when Reese visits his parents' house, he's shocked to find them in bed, dead. At first glance, it looks like a murder-suicide perpetrated by his father, but on closer inspection, there's clearly more to the story. For starters, inconsistencies in the crime scene suggest his dad may not have shot himself. As Reese, shaken as by his horrifying discovery, awaits questioning from the police, his phone lights up with a call. It's the last person he ever had expected to hear from. Reeling from the day's events, Reese finds himself questioning everything he thought he knew about his parents and whether he and his own family are in danger now. While the authorities work to untangle the baffling crime scene, Reese is pulled into a web of secrets linked to the unscrupulous pharma company his father worked for years ago. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think it sounds really good. It actually sounds very good. Linwood Barclay. Have not read any of his. I know that a couple of times I had him on my books list for Book Outlet, the book Whistle. And then when I went to check out, it had sold out. So I haven't been able to pick, because I wanted to pick that one up first. I think that's about a possessed train. Kids train. Right? Toy Train. So I kind of wanted to read that one, but have not gotten to it. This one sounds good. as well. And the very last book out of all the books, okay, is Bad Intentions by Ileana Zander. And this is another thriller. Okay, it says it's a psychological thriller. The next heart-pounding thriller from best-selling author Ileana Zander. Josie Boots messed up really badly, so she returns to her small hometown of Burnville to care for her ailing grandmother. It's been 25 years since an unspeakable crime rocked Burnville, 25 years since her grandmother's trial, 25 years since her mother's death, 6 years since Josie was called the bad seed, 2 months since she proved them right, and Josie can't catch a break. There we go. Go from there. So that's it for it. That one, I think that one sounds good as well. I love thrillers, but I do tend to wait to see them come up on Book Outlet, because a lot of times they do. They come available on Book Outlet. Thrillers are one thing that pass through there quite regularly, so a lot of times I'll wait, see if I can grab it on there. Okay, so that is actually it for everything that I have for you. Let me close my laptop because we don't need that anymore. So I think there are a total of 56 books altogether, and you got to admit, there's some great releases coming out in August. I have no idea what September looks like because I haven't even looked at it yet. The joys of having a busy summer, and even my clients busy right now, so that's keeping me on my toe. And of course, I'm going to be away for a week. So just trying to get ahead of the game here. So that's it for this video. And sorry that it's up a little bit later than usual. Like I said, always try to get at the beginning. I think the one coming in August is also going to be a little bit late for September releases. So just kind of be prepared for that, because that's not typical for me, but I think that's going to be the case. And the next video that's coming up after this one will be the reviews for the first batches of cozy books that I read for Summer Chaos. So I'm going to be filming that review and getting that up right after this one. Okay, so if you see me in the same clothes, that's why, because I'm filming it right after this. And yeah, so that's it for now, and we'll see you in the next one.